expressed support and offered help to the President. They likewise asked the President for amnesty so that they could receive their back pay and livelihood opportunities for the members of the RAM. Also regarding Secretary Judith Taguiwalo, the President has repeatedly given full trust and support for Secretary Taguiwalo, even when she sided with leftist groups opposing the President's positions. In the end, however, the law requires that we abide by decisions of the Commission on Appointments on Presidential Nominations. We wish Secretary Taguiwalo all the best in her future endeavors. She knows she will always have the President's gratitude and friendship for the time, albeit brief, that they spent together in the service of our people. We're open to a few questions.
Tuesday New.
Secretary, good morning po. Sir, ano ang nagtulak sa ating gobyerno na magbago ang isip doon sa hosting natin ng SEA Games on the 2019?
Ano po yung kung
yung SEA
babaguhin
Games,
ba?
sir, opo. Yung change of heart, kasi in-announce na po na hindi na tayo mag-host. Ngayon po ay mag-host na.
Regarding the factors that determine the shift, we don't have the details regarding that. However, let us celebrate the fact that we are going to be hosting it.
Okay, Maricel, TV5.
Hi, sir. Good morning.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, meron na po bang napipisil sa Presidente kung sino pwedeng pumalit kay Secretary Taguiwalo?
As of now po, wala pa. Walang dumarating sa akin na pangalan at hindi po natin alam.
How about OIC, sir?
We can confirm that later.
Okay. Sir, is there a chance na ma-reappoint si Secretary Taguiwalo sa ibang government agency after her rejection?
I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if it's a precedent for that. But I wouldn't be. I don't think it's entirely unthinkable.
Mm-hmm. And sir, may sinasabi si Secretary Taguiwalo na there's a rampant corruption in government agencies, and I believe she already brought this up to the President. Ano na po yung actions na ginagawa ng Malacañang tungkol po dito?
Ma'am, regarding corruption, that is part of the President's all-government approach, and that is part of his campaign promise to truly address crime, corruption, and illegal drugs. Kasama po yan.
Sir, panghuli na lang po, how about the President's meeting with Nikki Prieto? Ano po yung napag-usapan nila?
I think there was a turnover on mainly a donation.
Yes.
How much was that?
5 million.
Magkano?
5
Well, we don't know we can't. But it was mainly a turnover of a donation
Donation
for Marawi.
For
No?
Marawi affected children, advocacy niya yung area.
Alright. Ano sir yung
Saka residents.
yung dinonate? May we have
It's
details?
a cash amount. It's in
Cash
check.
donation.
So this is different from the donation given naman by Robin Padilla.
Iba yun.
Ano ba yun?
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Tina Mendez.
Sir, in relation to the replacement of Secretary Taguiwalo, si ASEC Mocauson conducted his poll survey,
Yes.
which turned out that VP Lenny Robredo getting 80% para bang votes. The second si Yusek Lauren Badoy, followed by Prieto Teodoro, si Mrs. Nikki Teodoro. How will the palace consider the polls survey of ASEC Moca?
I'm sure the President has other ways of measuring a candidate's capability aside from surveys. Thank you.
Does it mean it is not recognizing the polls?
It means that the President has a different set of categories.
Would the President, do you think, would the President look into VP Lenny as a possible candidate for the SWD?
Perhaps there may be conditionalities that may not be too favorable regarding that, but I don't know. It all depends on the President.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Tina. Follow-up or follow-up? Other issues? Joseph Moro. Follow-up? Okay, follow-up.
So I'd like to pick up on your point. You said that as far as VP Robredo is concerned, there may be conditionalities not too favorable for her to be appointed.
For the plain and simple reason that, for example, she has already resigned from the she's that particular job is a cabinet level job, and
But it's a different post.
it's a different post. Yeah, I agree with that. But I think the main reason was there were other matters that there. That's all. There were other
So
matters.
no
that-
for Lenny, no?
Come again?
No for Lenny. At this
No, don't quote me on that. I mean, I'm not saying no for Lenny. I'm just saying that it seems it may be a difficult choice.
Okay.
Okay,
Sir,
follow
do you
up?
think
Okay.
that, Secretary, it may not be the pork issue that is maybe detrimental to her confirmation by the CA, but the fact that she may be left-leaning, meaning because the government is kind of shifting its strategy as far as the NDF, CPP, and PA is concerned, it may be best to keep her out of the cabinet than maybe retain her?
We cannot speculate regarding that matter, but certainly one reason why the cabinet is a rainbow-colored cabinet, including left-leaning secretaries, was precisely because of the agreement that we could be more cooperative. The left would be more cooperative regarding that matter, but that's one reason why they're part of this. But we cannot speculate on the reason why she was not finally appointed.
Sir, this is probably the third, no? Tama ba? CSI and then... and of course, you would agree that the President has some sway over Congress.
But the President has said again and again that he will not interfere with the process.
But this is not a repudiation of his prerogative to appoint whoever he thinks is qualified for the position.
Well, he also respects the boundaries between
Okay,
the three branches of government.
Thank you, Joseph. Henry Uri, other issue?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, sir. Other
Yes, sir.
issues, sabi ni VP Leni Robredo, yung nangyari hong sunod-sunod na pagpatay sa mga drug suspects sa Bulacan at saka sa Manila.
Opo.
Ang sabi ho niya, yung culture of impunity, matagal na nating sinikwal. And sabi niya, ito ay isang bagay na kailangan mag-express tayo ng outrage.
Opo.
Hindi naman tayo ganyan hindi tayo ito. Ano po ang reaksyon dito ng Palasyo ng Malacañang?
Unang-una po, we understand where the perspective of the President has been very clear from the very beginning. This is not a reckless exercise of bloodletting. There's a rhyme and a reason in the police operations. And, number one, it's lumang tugtugin, but let me repeat. The second leg of his three-leg campaign was really law and order. Number one, anti-crime, anti-corruption, and then anti-illegal drugs. Now, you've heard again and again, we have heard again and again, that the President is very concerned in destroying, actually, the drug apparatus. And the objective in going even after street-level drug pushers is to degrade the community-based retail distribution network that will always fuel the drug trade, whoever is on top. In other words, it's a question of addressing the demand and supply. That objective has never changed, and we reiterate that the President's warning to syndicates and their cohorts in government is give up and shape up before it's too late. In other words, what the President's concern is basically, this is a very focused effort. These are very, very focused. This is not to exonerate everything that happens, but to put the context in what the government is doing. Ina-address po talaga niya yung nangyayari sa on the ground mismo para mahinto po yung isang bagay na talaga nakakasira ng bayan. And I think we should appreciate that. And I believe that the massa the common people in general, the average Filipino, and when I mean average, I mean yung whether ano yung political color niya, naintindihan nila kung ano ang dapat mangyari sa bayan. And again, we hear people say it's safer, they feel more comfortable, and in fact, they appreciate the fact that the Philippines is being made safe again.
You think it is still appropriate for a Vice President to have that kind of statement?
Well, she's of course entitled to her own opinion, and she may voice out. But and I think that's precisely the reason why maybe in the next round of of political systems we should have teams. where people understand. We should have teams. The president and the vice president should have the same perspective.
So you're not considering now that she's not a teammate of the president?
No, I'm not. I'm just simply saying that perhaps in the next round. In other words, dapat magkaintindihan para hindi naman lumalabas na nagkakaroon tayo ng conflict. Wala namang, ang akin lang sinasabi ko po rito, sana magkaisa tayo ng pananaw na ginagawa ng presidente is ipasantabi itong mga bagay na nakakasama sa bayan. Yun po ang perspective ng presidente.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Salamat
Okay,
po.
last 4 questions. Laila Salaveria to be followed by Raymond Tenasa, JP, and Tina.
Good morning, sir. Sir, the massive anti-drug operations in Bulacan were followed by similar operations in Manila and the Kamanava area. Sir, do you see these 2 operations in Metro Manila as a result of the President's endorsement of the Bulacan operation?
I believe, I don't think they're simply acting based on the president's endorsements. They really are taking, it just so happens that they're taking active steps in addressing the drug situation in the Philippines. So, first and foremost, you need to understand that police authorities follow protocols during the conduct of operations. Meron po sila sinusundan. And should there be any breach of protocol, this should be addressed, and the appropriate charges will be made, and those who are responsible will be made answerable to the law. So, ang ano po rito is, I don't think, balikan po natin, hindi po ito, kasi nadidinig lang, nag-endorse, no. Ano po talagang kampanya ito ng PNP dahil alam nila yung dapat na ma-address sa bayan.
Sir, the massive operations came one after the other. Is this going to be the norm now? Can we expect this?
The norm is to address criminality. And this is simply a method, a particular way of doing things. But that's not the end game. The end game is to make sure that corruption is addressed, criminality goes down, and that the demand for drugs is also reduced, if not completely eradicated.
But sir, last na. Do you see nothing questionable or alarming that these operations have led to numerous deaths?
I think it's also quite alarming, the fact that what is also equally alarming is that when we did not face these things, that there was violence all over the land. I mean, old women being raped, babies being raped. I mean, I think it's just about time that those who are in government and those who are in a position to do something about it should be able to address these matters and end these matters forcefully.
Okay, Raymond Tenasa.
Sir, but Bulacan 32, Manila 25, then last night 16 sa Metro Manila.
Opo.
So, were you surprised?
Ang
Or
alin po?
not at all?
Hindi po sasabihin, I don't think that's the question is whether I'm surprised or not. We're simply saying that we understand that and of course they should be addressed by the PNP themselves. No? But from our perspective, we are the police are taking their own steps in addressing that issue of making sure that the demand for illegal drugs be reduced.
So, last point.
Opo.
Was the president serious when he mentioned that the drug list, the updated one, will become death certificates soon?
I think the president really speaks rather forcefully, but his seriousness, but definitely what we can be assured of is his intention to make sure that the nation is safe.
Thank you, sir.
Salamat
Okay.
po.
Last 4 questions. Rosalie Cos.
Okay, sir. Reaction lang po ng Malacañang sa mga nagsasabi na yung massive drug operations kung saan napakarami po ang napapaslang, diversionary tactic para po mailihis ang usapin sa kontrobersya po na kinakaharap ngayon ng BOC, dun po sa 6.4 billion na shipment ng shabu.
I think that's being very cynical. You know, magkaiba po mga issue yon. Magkaiba mga issue yon. There are two separate issues, and I believe that's such a cynical way of looking at things.
Opo, sir. Pero kahapon sinabi ng Pangulo na ang BOC is corrupt to the core. And 3 times po nag-submit ng parang resignation letter si BOC Commissioner Faeldon. Pero ano ang concrete action? Umpisa pa lang ng panunungkulan ni Faeldon, hindi na niya talaga po naharap. Inamin niya na hindi niya kayang solusyonan yung mga katiwalian, pagpapalusot ng droga ng BOC. So, ano po ang concrete action ng pamahalaan regarding po dito? Lalo na po, sige po.
Well, so far as we can see, he has retained Faldon. So I suppose that's part of his concrete action. I think we need to understand that the president operates from his main perspective is integrity, integrity, skill, and skill and other abilities. And while you can get people who are skilled, but if lacking integrity, then that will be dangerous. Skill can always be learned. The ability to know how to do it. And I believe that's where the president is coming from. Mr. Faldon has been concerned, naturally, that he does not embarrass the president. The president is also quite aware, based on his words, that the man can be trusted. And for the president, that is paramount.
Okay, thank you. Joseph Morong?
So just staying on the drug operations topic,
Opo.
I'm sure you guys are aware of the 17-year-old that was supposedly killed by the police.
Yes.
What do you think? What does the president think first of that incident?
I cannot assume on what the what the president thinks, but what we can say with confidence is that those who are guilty of breaking the law or misuse or abuse will have to answer for that.
So are we instructing the PNP to
No,
investigate?
they don't need to be instructed. They have internal
Automatic.
internal mechanisms like IAS.
But definitely PNP should look into this. You think?
They automatically do that.
Okay.
They automatically do that.
Sir, yung statement that the streets are safe, given what had happened...
Safer.
Given what had happened to this 17-year-old student, minor, who's been killed allegedly by police operatives, do you think that statement that our streets are safer still hold true?
First and foremost, that statement was not manufactured by me. It is feedback of people, who is the general feedback of people. And that incident, happily, I think, is isolated.
Isolated.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Joseph. Tina? Or Tricia?
Sir, just to follow up,
Yes, ma'am.
aside from the evidence, witnesses and CCTV footage said na parang showed that hindi nanlaban ang 17 years old, but the spot police report said na nanlaban siya. How do we, kasi sir, sabi ni President na he will defend the police. Whatever they say, he will believe them. How do we reconcile that, sir, when...
He will defend the police in their carrying out of duties. However, he will also not tolerate any abuse and any breaches of the law. I think that's quite clear. He has said that before.
Okay, sige, sir. Thank you.
Okay, JP?
Sir, good morning.
Yes.
On 3 points po sana. Sir, una, yung doon sa SEA Games. Sir, saan natin...
Sa alin, sa?
Sa SEA Games po.
SEA Games.
Sir, saan natin kukunin yung budget since the palace had earlier said na yung 19 billion sanang allocated for that, hindi na natin gagamitin?
Well, if I may freely quote DBM Secretary, it will not be an unfunded project. I don't know how he's going to do it, but I believe that if we approved it, we're assuming that there will be funds for that.
So, gobyerno, sir, yung magfa-fund dun sa SEA Games or private sector?
Like I said, hindi ko po alam.
Okay, sir. Then, sir, the President recently met with former SND Gibo Chodoro. May details po ba tayo, sir?
Regarding that, it was a close-in meeting. Everybody was sent out.
Okay. Sir, last na lang po kay General Padilla. Sir, can we confirm reports on the presence of Chinese Navy Coast Guard from August 14 to 15 as claimed by Magdalo Representative Gary Alejano?
Yes, we did receive word from the camp of Congressman Alejano regarding the presence of Chinese ships in the area. There have been a lot of fishermen from our side who have been fishing in our waters over there. And I think the bone of contention was regarding the presence of some of our fishermen in some of those areas. Kaya nandun din yung mga Chinese. Now, this is a matter now being addressed. I cannot confirm how many ships were there because I have not seen the report yet. But we will work to clarify all of these things, and there is a mechanism that is built in our current relationship, which is called the bilateral consultative mechanism that has already been initiated before. So it would be best to ask the Department of Foreign Affairs kung ano na nangyari dito sa mechanism na to, kasi doon dapat natin idadaan lahat yon.
Pero sir, anong implication nito? Immediate implication ng presence of the 5 Chinese ships that were spotted?
Yung ating sightings at saka yung report na tinatanong nyo kung confirm ba ito, tulad ng sabi ko, we have sent word to the Western Command to check this out and to ensure that our fishermen, kung nandun pa sila, are well and protected. Now, we will file our ongoing and continuing protest for any of these movements, and the Foreign Affairs Department will see to that.
Follow-up lang, mag-file tayo ng note verbal?
No, we file diplomatic protest whenever we have sightings close to our areas.
Okay, final?
Especially this one.
Final question, Tina Mendez.
Sir, going back to the meeting between RAM leaders and President Duterte,
Yes, ma'am.
any commitment from the President to give amnesty to the RAM leaders?
I believe he viewed it with positively. I don't know the exact action that he will take, but the fact that he met with them shows that he is quite open to their requests.
To General Padilla, what's the stand of the AFP on this? Can you please refresh our memories kung ilan yung na-pardon and how many are involved?
Hindi ko na po kabisado lahat ng mga statistics kasi matagal na po yung sa issue ng RAM. Ang hinahabol lang ho yata dito ng mga ilan na hindi nabigyan ng amnesty at na-pardon ay yung kanilang mga gratuities, yung kanilang mga benefits. So, being of advanced age, of course, many of them will have requirements for health and support for their medicines. So, besides the offer of assistance to the government that they can still contribute, yun din po yung pakayata para makuha po yung mga benefits na to. But exact numbers, I don't have that. I'm sorry right now. I will have to come back to you and find out.
Okay, thank you, Brigadier General Restituto Padilla. Thank you, Presidential Spokesperson Ernesto Abella. Back to our main studio sa Radyo Pilipinas and PTV.